Hi, I'm Mark and welcome back to Crazy Nose, the Materials Edition. In my last episode, I showed you my setup for a home perfumery lab, and at the end of that episode, I promised I'd show you how I make up a batch of my oak barrel accord that I'm currently working on. So let's do that now.
Shut up and sit down.
Now you'll be familiar with the phrase, fail to plan equals plan to fail, and that applies to perfumery as much as anything. So if you just start randomly throwing chemicals and oils into a beaker, you're going to finish up with Frankenstein's monster, and it'll just smell like mud. And the worst thing about it is you will have wasted a whole lot of expensive chemicals, but also you'll have no idea what you did, so you won't be able to avoid making the same mistake on the next batch. So it's vitally important to record everything we do in perfumery and to start with a plan, to be intentional about what we're doing. So I always think about these three questions and the answers to them. Number one, what's the smell I'm trying to create? Number two, what aroma chemicals and essential oils are going to help me produce that smell? And number three, what are the relative concentrations of each chemical that I'm going to need to get the smell I want? Now, the answer to the first question is not so difficult, but the answer to the second two is very difficult, especially when you're starting out, as I am. So there are a number of sites that I've been to do research and find out more about aroma chemicals and how formulas go together. And I'll put some links down below to those sites so you can do the same research if you want to. But having answered those three questions, then you need a plan of attack. So some people like to do this on paper. I prefer to do it in a spreadsheet. So I'll show you that spreadsheet that I use now. So this is the spreadsheet that I use to do my demo formulas in. And I got this actually from another YouTuber. So I'll put the link to his site. His site is called BK Sense. And he kindly built this spreadsheet and shared it in the open domain so other people can use it. So down below in the description, I'll put a link to his site and also a link to his spreadsheet. When you open it up, it looks like this. I'll just go over it quickly, the setup here. So down the left-hand side, you've got the column that you put your materials into, and it's set up in terms of base notes, mid notes, and top notes. In this case today, my formula only has base notes and middle notes, and that's because what I'm trying to create here is an oak barrel accord, and that will become a base to be used in a full perfume formula later down the track. So that's why it's very base heavy here. Now I'm going to be blending 6 materials today, and that's a step up from what I started with, where I only had oakwood CO2 and whiskey lactone. And the problem when I put those together, I made a video about this, was that I do get the smell of oak in there, but I also get a very strong smell of coconut and caramel. It's a very gourmand smell. So what I need to do is try to overcome that and turn it more into a dry wood smell rather than a wet gourmand smell. So that's what we're trying to do today. That's the mission. Now this column here shows you the dilution of the stock material. So in the case of oakwood CO2, my stock of that is actually at a 10% dilution. That's the way it arrived from the supplier. And my oak moss down here is 55%. It's important to put these numbers in here so that all the other numbers are calculated properly. Anything that's in green here is modifiable, so that's where you put the things in that you need to change. Everything else is locked down. So down in this column here, this is where you put the weights that you're adding. So in here, I'm going to be adding these weights to the mix. And up the top here, it shows me the total weight of the perfume that I'm making. So I'm mixing up approximately 1 gram today. And as I said earlier, or in my last video, I always work with these very small batches, because it's quite likely that you'll go through a number of batches that are just not what you want, and you'll finish up having to throw them away. So you don't want to be throwing away a lot of expensive materials. So I always work with a small 1 gram batch as much as possible. Coming across here to these two columns, this column on the right here shows the percentage of each material. It's a relative percentage, so all of these add up to 100. So this column here is basically making an assumption that there's no alcohol in here. Now, of course, there will be alcohol in here because, for example, with oakwood CO2, this is 90%, it's only 10% raw material and 90% alcohol. So we can't put any of this into the batch without increasing the amount of alcohol in there. But what this column does is it subtracts out the alcohol and just shows you the relative percentage of each material to each other material. The column just to the left of it shows the absolute concentration. So this is inclusive of the alcohol. So you'll note here, for example, that with Oakwood CO2, it's showing a relative percentage of 10%, but an absolute percentage of 5%. And that's because if we look up the top here, the final perfume concentration here is 50%. So what I'm mixing up is going to be half alcohol and half material. So therefore, this column will show about half what this column shows. So that's how this spreadsheet works. Once you get your head around it, it's really quite good. You put the date up the top here and the name of the thing that you're mixing, and there's a space down the bottom here to put your comments when you evaluate it. I won't be doing a full evaluation today because, as I said before, you need to allow time for it to macerate, but I will do just a quick first impression of it once I've mixed it up. So what have I got here? Well, let's start with this column here, this row here, ISO-E Super. ISO-E Super is almost like a filler these days in perfumes, and I've put it in here at a very high concentration of 65%. Now, ISO is an interesting molecule because it's what they call a super amber, so it's kind of like a amber wood molecule, but it's very, very subtle. In fact, I struggle to smell it, to be honest. So that's a good thing in a way because it's not going to throw your other smells out of kilter. It'll have very little impact overall on the finished smell of the formula that you're making. But it does do a few other things for us. So one thing that it does is it helps as a fixative for the other molecules. So a fixative basically helps the other molecules to stay concentrated on your skin and not just to fly off into the air. So that gives you greater longevity on the perfume. It also, strangely enough, in addition to being a fixative, it also helps with diffusion. So it can help with the top end diffusion of the perfume so that you get a more diffusive and projecting type of fragrance. So it does those two things. The other thing it can do is fill in the gaps in your blend so that if there are any gaps where the molecules are not sort of melding together, ISO-E Super can be like the glue that just glues it all together. So you can see that it's almost a magical molecule, this one, and that's why it's used so heavily in all modern perfumes. It would be hard to find a commercially made perfume these days that doesn't have a high concentration of ISO-E Super in there. So for me, what I'm hoping this will do is actually dry my formula out. So my oakwood and my whiskey are creating these, they're putting some wood in there, but they're also putting in all of this gourmand notes that I'm not really wanting. So I'm hoping that the ISO will help to dry that out and make those other nuances less noticeable in the blend. So coming back up to the top, the Oakwood CO2, I'm putting that in at 10%, and I'm doing the same with the whiskey. And that's because I need enough in there so we can smell the oak wood, but I don't want a high concentration because I don't want them to have a high relative proportion and be displaying all of these strange gourmand notes of coconut and caramel. Coming down, then we've got guaiacol. So guaiacol is a smoke molecule, and I covered this off in one of my other videos. The reason for this being in there is that an oak barrel, before you put wine in it, they always toast the barrel, what they call toast, which basically means that they char the inside of it with a blowtorch. So I want that smell to be in this perfume or in this base. I need to have some smokiness in there. So that's the purpose of the guaiacol. Guaiacol is basically, it's the molecule that makes, guaiac wood smell smoky. And as with all smokes, it's a very potent molecule and very detectable. So I'm keeping the concentration quite low on this. It's only 2.45%. And even that might be too high, but we'll see how it turns out. So coming down then, we've got oak moss Dec Absolute. Don't worry about what the Dec Absolute means. This is an oak moss. Now, the reason I'm putting this in here, and I'm putting it in at 10% roughly, so the same as the oak wood and the whiskey, The reason I'm doing this is because I think if you think about an oak tree, it grows in the forest and it's likely going to have oak moss growing over it throughout its life. And it's likely that some of the spores from that oak moss are going to be incorporated into the tree wood. So when you chop the tree down and you turn it into oak barrels, it's likely that some of that smell of oak moss is going to be detectable in the wood. So I'm hoping that this will give me a more realistic wood smell than just the oak wood CO2 and the whiskey lactone can produce. I think best case, it'll give me a more realistic oak wood smell, and worst case, it'll probably just give me a bit of a mossy, earthy smell to the composition. And I don't see that as a downside really, because to my nose, oak barrels, when I smell them, do have that kind of earthiness about them as well anyway. So I don't think this is a high risk putting this one in here. Now coming down here to the mid notes, there's only one mid note in here, and that's the eugenol X clove. So eugenol is basically, it's the molecule in clove oil that makes it smell like clove oil. And if you've smelt clove oil, it's a very detectable smell and a very potent smell. So again, I'm keeping the percentage down quite low on this to 2.45%. The reason I'm putting it in there is because straight off the bat, it seemed to me that there was a missing kind of spice in this oakwood accord that I'm trying to build. Yeah, whenever I smell an oak barrel, there's always a bit of spiciness to it. And if you talk to people that smell wines, wine connoisseurs, they often talk about the clove smell from the wood. So I think I do need to get some clove oil in there or some clove smell. So the eugenol will give me that clove smell into the mixture here. Okay, so we're back at the bench top now. I'm all set up and ready to start blending. I like to have all my materials lined up on the rack here in the order I'm going to add them. So the 6 materials are lined up there. I've also got on here one of these little sample bottles that I can transfer the blend into once I finish, so it can stay in there for a couple of weeks to macerate before final evaluation. I've got in front of me a printout of my spreadsheet, so I can tick off as I go with a pencil the materials as I add them, and this tells me exactly what I need to weigh out on the scale. To transfer the material from its container into the beaker, I've got plenty of these pipettes, and I've also got a few of these little micro pipettes that I showed in the other video, because some of these materials only need a very small weight to be measured. For example, guaiacol, I only need 13 milligrams of that, and it's very hard to get 13 milligrams with one of these bigger pipettes because a single drop is going to be 15 milligrams at least. So scales are set up, they're turned on, they're zeroed. I've put a beaker on there and I've hit the tare button on the scale to zero that, so we're ready to start adding. I've got my gloves on, pretty much ready to go, I think. So what I'll do is I'll do a couple of these, but I'll speed ahead so you're not getting bored, and we'll come back and do a quick evaluation at the end. So let's get stuck in. So the first material we need here is the oakwood CO2, and I need 530 milligrams of that. This is a very dark, thick, viscous liquid. Can be a little bit hard to measure and to work with, but we'll see how we go. So we'll drop that in. Now 530, that's quite a lot. So it'll need quite a few drops in here, although this is very dense and heavy, so you have to be careful how you go because every drop is quite heavy. So 200, 3, nearly 400. Okay, coming up to 500. We need to slow down here, 511 once they settle. One more drop. Okay, 528, 533, so that's close enough, 538. We've gone a little bit over. That's inevitable. It will happen from time to time. It's very hard to measure down to the exact milligram, but if you're within 5 milligrams or so, you're going to be pretty much fine. I'll just put these dirty ones into a beaker to throw away later. So that's our first material added. I'll put that up on the higher tier on the rack there, and I'll tick it off. It's done. Now the next one, I'm going to skip ahead here and do the guaiacol and just show you what we do when it's a smaller amount. So with the guaiacol, we only want 13 milligrams, which is a really small amount. I'll zero the scale. We can't do that with the big pipette because each drop out of there is 15, at least 15 milligrams, and we only want 13 here. So we're going to go now to the micro pipette. So I'll get some guaiacol. This is very pungent. I can smell it without even getting close to the bottle. There's a strong smoke smell coming out of here. Now, each one of these will be about 5 milligrams. So I'll need, oh, that's gone to 10 already. Okay, so we're pretty close to 13, in fact. This is a dilemma. If I put another drop, we'll go over, probably at least 2 mils over. And if I don't, we're, what are we, 3 mils under? So it's a bit of a judgment call. I'm going to take a punt and go a little bit over with this one. I think it won't hurt the blend too much if we've got some extra smoke in there. Okay, so we've gone to 20, so we're a bit overdosed on that. But I don't think that's really going to be an issue. Now I'll skip ahead with the filming and just get this done. We'll speed it up and get it completed, and we'll come back and talk about the result. Okay, so it's all in the beaker. I'll swish it around. And as I said, this needs to macerate for some time, at least a week, for these materials all to meld in together and form into their final accord. But I'm just going to do a quick evaluation now for the sake of the video. And remember that the problem I was trying to fix here is when you just put the whiskey lactone and the oak CO2 together, you get a lot of gourmand nuances in there, a lot of notes that are like, you know, caramel and coconut. So I'm hoping this will smell more like dry cut wood rather than a gourmand accord. I might just put that on a strip actually because it's a bit too concentrated in here. This is probably the final concentration of this is 50%, so that's stronger than a normal perfume would be. So I'm just going to dip this scent strip in here and smell it on a bit of paper here. It's very thick and dark. That's from the oakwood CO2. There's a lot of colour in that, and it's quite viscous too, especially since it's 50%. I would expect it to be a little more liquid than it is. Okay, so the first thing to say is it's definitely smelling more woody. And interestingly, I can really smell that guaiacol, that smokiness in there. So that little overdose probably was too much. I need to back that off. Originally, I was meant to put in 13 milligrams, and I think I went up to about 19 or something. So it's, you know, it needs to come back to what the target was of 13, I think, because it's quite smoky. But I'll wait and see how it smells after maceration. Definitely smells more like wood. There's less of the gourmand. There's still a bit of caramel coming through to my nose. Not so much of the coconut, but there's still quite a caramel smell to this. But it definitely smells more wood, dry cut wood, oak barrel smell. We're definitely getting in the right direction there. Yeah, it's really heading in the right direction. I'm quite happy with that. I think as a next step, I might add a bit more wood in there. I've got a lot of ISO already in there, so I'm thinking I might try and add a little bit of cedar wood. I don't really want to get that pencil shaving smell, but I just want to get more of a dry wood smell to it. But anyhow, I'll have to think about that, but I'm quite happy with how this is, where this is heading. And thank you for watching. I hope this was of interest to you, and if you like this kind of thing, I'll certainly make more of them. I'll be doing a lot of work in my new lab, trying to blend and hopefully come up with a perfume that I'm able to wear. So if you want to follow my journey, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell, and that way you won't miss any future videos. Until next time though, take care, stay safe, and enjoy your fragrance, whatever you're making.